He was choking me like I was his woman, and he hated me because I cooked the food wrong, right? I'm Nate Almighty, aka the Global Dark Skin Ambassador, and this is a story about how I got choked out to the point where my life was almost liberated by my body by not only a Trinitario, but the biggest Trinitario in Rikers Island, and not only the biggest Trinitario in Rikers Island, but the big boss of all bosses. You're gonna want to stick to the end of this video to find out exactly how it goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rikers Island Stories 2.0. This is a retelling and revision of one of my first Rikers Island stories to start gaining some traction and doing some numbers. And what I was gonna do first was I was just gonna get to the old video and I was just gonna edit it. But then while I was editing it, I realized like, hey, this video sucks. There's some details that I forgot to add into it, and I want to add to it now for your entertainment. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now let's get in a time machine, and I'm gonna take you boys and girls to the year 2008. I just turned 17. I caught a charge with my mans because we started a riot outside of our school in front of Wendy's, and we got locked up for gang assault. So I go to Rikers Island, right? I get to Rikers Island. I have a hard time in the beginning because they was trying to extort me. I went from getting jumped for the first couple days and dudes trying to extort me to me now I'm participating in the jumping of other people and helping other people get extorted. But at the same time, my name is not really ringing bells at all in Rikers Island. I've just begun to gain respect and gain a good rapport with the dudes who run 5 Main North because that's where I was at. The only people who really knew who I was from outside of the town to even be able to vouch for me were 2 people, and that was Bow Wow / Hakeem, and that was LLL Boogie. But by that point, they were already on Rikers Island for like a year before me, and they were in 2 houses that I ain't never been to, and I heard they were there, but I had not seen them up to this point. My man Kurt from Vietnam in the hood, who was Miller Blood at the time, he was on the south side of 5 Main. Now the Trinitario who ended up choking me out, he was on 5 Main South, but by that point, Kurt Flirt had already like got into a riot or something and he got packed up. So he was somewhere else on the whole other side of the island, right? All I had was just me, myself, and I had Mary Fistmas. These was the only vouchers for myself that I had.
This is what makes you a man. You win some, you lose some, but you live to fight another day.
So now I was facing this illusion when I was in Rikers Island, and I was under the impression that I was gonna go home. And they tell me that I'm remanded, and then they offer me 3 years. 3 years after my lawyer was already gassing my head up, telling me there's a chance that I might go home. I'm pissed off, right? You think because your people is there supporting you that the judge is gonna say, hey, he's less of a criminal than he appears to be because people love him. How about I let him go home? No. Now, I know at this point you're thinking, I'm about to click off because what does this have to do with him getting choked out by the Trinitario? I gotta build it up. This is storytelling. We gonna get to it. This is what led to the confrontation with the Trinitario. So I get remanded, I'm upset. They take us back to Rikers Island. I was about to say they take us back home. See that? Institutionalized mind, right? Still after all these years. Right? We get back to the island, I'm upset now. It's after dinner time. I just go in my cell. I go in my cell, beat my meat, listen to the radio, go to bed. But I still had an attitude going into the next day. So now this is where the Trinitario situation comes in. We get into the nitty gritty right now. Now it's the day after I had court, I got remanded. I still have an attitude. I'm not really talking to nobody. North side and south side, we getting together and we're going to the gym. You have a north side and a south side of every house, right? At least in C-74, because that's the only building I was in. So picture in your head, right? A real long corridor, right? 20, 30 dudes, they line up one after another. And then they have the south side come out. South side does the same thing. Some dudes may have static with each other, some dudes may not. So at any random point when you get 2 houses together, it could really go down. Random fights can happen, random cuttings, slashings can happen, stabbings can happen, all of that. So I'm the last person on the line in 5 Main North, right? And little do I know, there's a very disrespectful Trinitario behind me, starting the line for 5 Main South. So now we're walking now. I did not take the time out to look behind me because I'm mad. I don't have no real friends in 5 Main South anyway. My mans is gone, so I really didn't give a damn what's going on behind me, right? Pause. Was that a pause moment? We walk in, we take the first couple steps, and I hear, who's this day room? And now in my head, I'm like, really? Me? I'm like, who is he talking to? So first I try to ignore him. Now I hear him saying stuff in Spanish, right? I turn around, you see, in my head, it sounded like somebody who was my height or shorter than me, right? But I turn around and I realize I'm looking at somebody's chest. So then I look up and in my head, I'm like, oh, this nigga mad tall. I'm not gonna lie, yo. I'll admit it. My heart started pumping a little bit of fear. A little bit of fear, right? So I don't say nothing. I turn around, but mind you, I still have an attitude about the previous day before. I turn around and I tell myself in my head, I'm like, he can't be talking to me. He don't even know me. And then you know what I hear from behind me? I'm talking to you, day room. So now at this point, other dudes who are further ahead of me in the line, including the other tough guys in the house, they start looking back. They like, who's such and such talking to, right? And then they start looking at me, right? So now, when you in jail, now you gotta kind of like snap yourself into goon mode now, because now everyone realizes that this person is directly disrespecting you. So now they giving me this look, and the look is like, what you gonna do? He called you a daryl. At this point, I still did not know he was the biggest boss Trinitario in Rikers Island. To me, he was just some big bully. When I say big, I mean like big. He was like 6'3", 6'4". He had a beard. He looked like he was 25, but this is Rikers Island, C-74. Once you turn 19, they move you into a building that's called the OTs. That means it's 19 and older. So he couldn't have been older than 18, but you know how I be with Spanish dudes, right? Like they information might say they 18, but in all due reality, they might be 30. No, it's a stereotype, but hey, it's true. It's very true. If you Dominican, you know what I'm talking about. Mind you, I did not know who he is, and they knew who he was. A smarter person would have ignored him because he's a gang leader. But I wasn't a smarter person.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I was stupid Nas / Juju from Cortland, from the Browns. So I say to myself, he keep talking, I'ma snuff him. I'ma cock back all the way from Africa, and whatever happens after that happens. Cause he already bigger than me. He's way bigger than me. He got like 50 pounds on me. He got like 6 inches on me. Pause.
Pause.
Pause what?
You said something gay.
He's going back and forth between English and Spanish and Moreno this, Moreno that. People who feel like they got the victory already, they often talk more than they supposed to talk. So while people are talking, you just gotta hook off on him. So while he talking, I turn around, I cock back, and I fired on him. Boom, right? Cracked him right in his mouth, right? I stunned him enough to where he had to take a couple steps back, right? And his mouth started bleeding. His shock allowed me the opportunity to think faster than him. So once I snuffed him, it's already on, everybody watching, right? Once he tries to swing, I duck and then I grabbed him, right? You know when you're trying to slam somebody and you grab him? I grabbed behind his legs, right? Grabbed behind his legs, I lifted him off his feet and then I leaned front ways. Bad idea. He immediately puts me in a chokehold. Picture an abused wife, right? Picture an abused wife getting choked out by her abusive drunk husband who just got fired from the factory and he know he has a little Vienna sausage in his pants, right? That kind of anger that he would use to choke his woman is how he was choking me. He was choking me like I was his woman and he hated me because I cooked the food wrong, right? I'm like, picture Jody getting choked out by Ving Rhames, right? He just fiending me out. He fiending me like I feel he's pressing his muscle against my throat. Like I feel like it's like he's choking me and he's literally trying to take my life.
Don't kill me with this. I got 30 years.
Have you ever really felt like someone was actively trying to take your life? Ever. This is exactly what was happening, right? So he choking me. I'm like, right? Mind you, this was only a couple seconds. It felt like a lifetime. So now, like, I'm seeing stars. I'm seeing a light. I'm seeing light. In my head, I'm like, I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming, Elizabeth. Somehow, some way, the COs separate us from each other, right? Immediately, my light comes back in my body. While they pulling me off on top of him, I cracks him. Bang! So they throw me against the wall. I start talking this shit. I'm like, yo, you better hope I never see you again. I'm from Corner. I see you again, I'm gonna blow your head off, right? So now Jim get done. I'm the talk of the house. I'm the talk of the house on north side and south side. This is the beginning of my name starting to get some kind of traction in Rikers Island. Now dude's like, yo, man, them GFC niggas is giving it up. Yo, man, Nas is a goon, right? But I did not know who he was, so now, the dudes who run the crib, they're like, yo, you know who you just popped on, right? I'm like, it's a big span. They like, nah, this is such and such. He got the building for the Patrias. I didn't understand the magnitude of what he said, but I confirmed enough of it that I was in enough danger because he was a gang leader. And like, yo, he got the building for Patria, bro. Like you might need to get you like a piece of radiator or something, bro. Like, we can't protect you from the Patrias. Like, you on your own. You on your own, bro. Like, I'm like, hey, you on your own, son. Like, it's only so much we could do. I'm like, all right, copy. And that's what happened. I got choked out by the top Trinitario in Rikers Island.